Okay, hello. Welcome to week 2. Okay, so this week there are 2 assignments and there will be a quiz. I'm going to go through the week 2 quiz that I had written previously based on the original textbook for this class. Now they finally updated mine, so I have the same version as everyone. But because of that, I just want to go through that week 2 quiz and make sure everything is correct with the reading assignment. So the reading assignment will be posted on Wednesday. So will the quiz. So right now you can do the week 2 assignments with the linked reading materials. So the first week 2 assignment, you're looking at the Revolutionary War, and something that you may not think about, I didn't until this assignment. So after the Revolutionary War, largely we're left with women, right? Men are injured or killed, and so we're left with women. And so they went to apply for their husbands' pensions, and there was nothing for them. And so in 1817, finally, we start to see some traction. So I have linked Revolutionary War, veteran and widow pensions from the U.S. National Park Service, an article. Read that and then answer the 5 questions that have to do with that article. Okay, that's assignment 1. Then your second assignment, which you can go in any order, they may even be listed in a different order. Your second assignment, you're looking at primary sources. So the woman you selected last week, you're looking at for primary sources. So I have linked some slides I made. They're copied within the assignment. So primary sources are history's raw materials. They're diaries and photographs, letters, and newspapers that were written in that time. If you have a newspaper article from today that's written about Dolly Madison, that's not a primary source. It's a secondary source looking back. But a newspaper article about Dolly Madison within her time, that's a primary source. They're maps and military records, speeches and interviews, music and films, birth certificates and obituaries, voting records and business receipts, legal records and census data, texts and emails today. If you think they're private, they're not. And then artifacts such as pottery, quilts, coins, weapons, farm tools, anything like that, primary sources. The National Archives, it's nationalarchives.gov or org. It's one of those. It has the largest archives it's one of the largest archives in the world. It holds millions of government documents. If you're interested in that, you can become a citizen archivist. There are records such as from the First Continental Congress. There's 477 records. Only 7 of those have been transcribed, meaning they could be digitized and available online. There's still much we don't really know as common knowledge. So the National Archives is located in Washington, D.C., but is available online. And it holds millions of government documents. It has original copies of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, which are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution. So you review that about what are primary sources, and then you're going to find 5 primary sources that directly relate to your chosen topic. So the woman that you selected in week 1, 5 primary sources related to her. It can be her birth certificate, can be a picture, but you're going to find 5 primary sources. And remember, go by the slide that I've linked that define history's raw materials, the primary sources of what counts as a primary source. If you come across something and you're not sure whether it's a primary source, text me. I'll let you know. But that's what you're looking for. You need 5 primary sources. So you're going to identify the source. There's 3 columns. I've attached a Word document, and there are 3 columns that you need to complete for each of your 5 primary sources. So you'll identify the primary source. Maybe it's a picture, maybe it's a letter, maybe it's a newspaper article. Identify it. Then the relationship of the primary source to your person. So, picture of whoever. And then the web link for where you found it. So also, that's okay. Then on Wednesday, you're reading for the week. I'll link it. and I'll have the quiz live on Wednesday. I just want to go through this new version of the text. There have been substantial changes to it. Sometimes, for example, in my government class, it went from 3rd edition to 4th edition, very minimal changes. This textbook for this class, substantial changes. So I just want to make sure we're on the same page, we're doing the same things, and I'm setting you up for success. All right, reach out with questions. You can get going on these 2 assignments, and then on Wednesday, I'll have the reading posted, and the quiz will be available. It's not due Wednesday, it's due Sunday. So you have ample time, and always my quizzes are open book, open note, and not timed. Okay, so this reminds me, I wanted to talk to you about something. And I have not graded your week 1 stuff yet, so this is not an accusation to anyone. It's just a point of, I'm on a school board. It's a point of order. All right, that's what we would say in the school board. So, okay, so here's our point of order. You need to do your own work. I am reading a book. It's titled Revolution by Eric Metaxas. And in it, he quotes John Adams, so the 2nd president of the United States, John Adams. We learned about his wife, Abigail, last week. And in 1765, so 11 years before the Declaration of Independence, John Adams writes a dissertation on the canon and feudal law. In it, he says, "We are afraid to think." Because what had happened is England was going to institute these really restrictive, really expensive taxes. So like the Stamp Act, for example, and it was devastating. So these mobs formed, and there was mob violence, and so that's what happens. We are afraid to think. I saw a quote by Carl Jung, I think, or Young. And it said, "Thinking is difficult. Most people judge." Because truly, we are afraid to think. We're afraid to fail. But I think the art of thinking is becoming lost. And so you can cheat and probably never get caught. AI is very sophisticated. That's a choice, unfortunately, that is available to you. But if that's the route you go, you cheat yourself. Because learning to read, learning to analyze what you are reading, learning what it means, learning to think, learning how the stuff you're learning compares to the world around you, that's learning to think. When you go to AI and you have AI do something for you, AI is brilliant, AI is fast. AI takes everything that's ever been printed, really, and can formulate it into ideas, and it's amazing. But so is your brain. Every single one of you, you're brilliant, and you have brilliant minds. But the brain is a muscle, and it's got to be worked. And so I really encourage you to read books, eyes on pages, not this Kindle crap, eyes on pages. Because if you will discipline yourself to even read 10 pages a day of a book, it will start to help your brain. And really, we want to think, because what happens if the internet goes down and you don't know how to find information and you don't know how to process information to come up with conclusions and action steps? Well, what if something happens and that's not available to you? Then what? Do you ever go to the store or the gas station? One time we were traveling and we arrived in this town and we had planned to fill up with fuel at this town. It's Del Norte in Colorado. So we got to Del Norte and we're like, okay, we have this one gas station we love and we always stop there. We always fill up there. We go to the bathroom there. We get snacks, whatever. So we get into Del Norte. The internet is down. The pumps don't work. The cash register doesn't work because we're like, we have cash. And they're like, that's fantastic. Nothing we can do for you. The pumps are down. They will not work until the internet comes back up. So then we went to the next town. I can't remember what it is. But we went to the next town, even though we needed to turn and go north up the gun barrel. But we couldn't because we needed fuel before we embarked on that journey. So we had to go to the next town. And I think we went to 2 more towns before finally the internet outage. We were beyond it and we could get fuel. So think of that for your brain. Like, what if something happens to the internet and your pump's not working? Your pump doesn't even know how to work. I really encourage you to do your own work. You truly cheat yourself when you cheat. It takes more time to do your own work, but that's going to make it faster later because your brain knows how to work. Your gears are oiled and they can just flow freely. So that's my plug. All right, don't be afraid to think. Don't be afraid to work. Also, that makes you interesting. I look around when I am in public and there are just people on their phones. And then I go to, somewhere public and I just listen to people talk about what they saw online and everybody saw that. Okay, great. But I want to go somewhere where we talk about books. I want to go somewhere where we talk about ideas, where we can have new ways of thinking and, hey, I see it this way, new perspectives. That takes individualism, not just this robotic, yeah, everybody saw that online and now that's all we can talk about. Make yourself interesting. Give yourself the opportunity to be interesting. And that happens through reading books, exercising, setting goals, working to achieve them. It does not come from cheating. Cheaters are not interesting. They might be interesting for a second, but they're not going to be interesting long term, and they can't maintain it because they don't have those skills that come from doing the work. So do your own work. All right. Reach out with questions and have a great week.